Dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh. Over the fields we go, streaming to you live. Merry Christmas, fam. Yes, I love that little jingle. You can apply that to, like, anything. Like, watching Asian lesbians kiss on Gaga Ooh La La. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it is Christmas. It is Christmas Day. Or Christmas night, rather. It gets dark so quickly over here where I'm at. But, yeah, I thought I'd do, like, a special Christmas movie review. I really didn't know what to watch. Here's what's interesting, okay? I wasn't finding any Christmas movies that released in December, but I found two that released in November. So I might do a double review. We'll see. But we have the Rock's movie, Red One, that Christmas action movie that weirdly released November 15th. So, like, definitely not in December. And then 2 days earlier, on November 13th on Netflix, we had Hot Frosty, Lacey Chabert's movie, Hot Frosty. Yeah, here we have like a little verses. Well, this is misleading. I didn't watch both of these films, but I did want to kind of compare for a second. So we have two like kind of similar Christmas themed rom-coms that dropped around the same time on Netflix very recently. So we have Hot Frosty starring Lacey Chabert, and then we have Our Little Secret starring Lindsay Lohan. So two alums from Mean Girls, right? And just real quick, so I watched I was debating between these two films. Hot Frosty was definitely trending more. It actually has an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, believe it or not. Rom-coms usually don't do that well with critics, so I was kind of, that already piqued my interest. And then it's trending. It's in the top 10 on Netflix, so like I was curious. Our Little Secret, I watched the trailer, and real quick, so basically Lindsay Lohan is dating this guy, and she spends like the first Christmas with his family, but then there's drama because it turns out that the boyfriend's sister, or some family member, is dating her ex boyfriend, and so she brings him to the Christmas dinner as well, and oh my god, and then they have to, like, she says, like, let's pretend that we don't know each other, so we'll avoid drama, and it'll be our little secret, so that looked kind of dull. I wasn't too interested in that one. So if you've seen it, let me know if that's like worth watching. But I had a choice to make, so I chose the one on the left. I chose the beautiful Lacey Chabert. Hot Frosty is also like very cheesy. It's your typical rom-com. What's interesting to me, I googled what Lacey's been up to, because she was in movies, and then she kind of reached a point in her career, and I get it, like once you kind of find your niche, and she found her niche. She was like, I do Hallmark movies now, like I do these movies, like this type of rom-com, this type of holiday rom-com, or just like a romance movie in general. She's made a career out of it, because I'm like channel surfing, and whenever I pop on like Hallmark or Hallmark movies and mysteries, she's in the movie. Like she's in like every movie on that channel. And I googled her. Would you believe it? She has done, up to this point, this is a Netflix movie, by the way, but she has done, on the Hallmark channel, she has done 30 movies of this type. That's insane. But yeah, like, she found her niche. She, obviously that's what pays the bills, so like she's gonna do that, which is fine. I mean, I'm glad that she's still working, but like I thought, she's a great actress. I've always loved Lacey Chabert. She's so beautiful. She's like the most beautiful woman ever. So I wish she would do more movies instead of, no offense, these Hallmark movies aren't really movies. They're not real movies. I guess she does Netflix movies now. And that was like the joke, that when the trailer for this dropped, all the YouTube comments said the same thing. They all said like, oh, I didn't realize Netflix was becoming, the Hallmark channel. I didn't realize they were like they were doing like the fusion dance with the Hallmark channel. It's true. I mean, look at this. This is also a Netflix movie. Like all these movies on Netflix are like Hallmark movies. Like what happened? What happened to Netflix? Like Netflix, I said that in my previous streaming video, but Netflix totally fell off. I mean, they're not the same Netflix that they used to be back in the Orange is the New Black, House of Cards days. Even like the Stranger Things days. That's like long past. Now we're getting this. But anyway, and real quick, not to be mean, not to be mean, but it's like I have to throw in my like anti-drug propaganda real quick. Like, don't, this is why you don't do drugs, kids. So here we have on the left Lacey Chabert. She's actually older than Lindsay. She's a couple years older. Lacey Chabert, you know, probably never touched a drug in her life. Still looks, you know, I mean, she looks older, but like, what, she in her like mid 40s, she still looks fantastic. You know, she still looks almost as good as she did in her Mean Girls days. Lindsay Lohan is a few years younger. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, Lindsay. What happened? Oh, Lindsay. Yeah, so that's, you know, here we have on the right, kids, yeah, why you don't do drugs. Oh my God. And I saw on that same topic real quick, I'll probably review this at some point, but earlier this year, there was that Mean Girls remake. Did you guys see that with Angourie Rice? Yeah, I thought the musical one, yeah, I thought it was pretty good actually, but at the end of the movie, I didn't even realize it was her at first, but at the end of the movie, they have like the mathletes scene, and Lindsay Lohan has a cameo. She's the one, she's the judge. She's the one like running the mathletes thing. And when she popped on screen, I was like, oh my, oh no, not to you, Lacey. I was like, oh my, oh wow, okay, is that her? Oh, Lindsay, okay. Times are tough. Okay, throw her back. So yeah, that's why you don't do drugs, kids. Sorry, Lindsay. But I had to make my little anyway. So yeah, Hot Frosty. And let me just say, I'll get off this. I could talk about Mean Girls forever. That's a movie I grew up with. I love that movie to death. And I've kind of followed all 4 actresses from that point forward. But they've all gone on to do some interesting things. But yeah, Lacey's my number 1. I think she's amazing. My second pick is actually. Karen, played by Amanda. I almost said Amanda Seinfeld. No, what's her? Amanda Seyfried. There we go. Yeah, Seyfried, whatever. Amanda Seyfried. Yeah, she's a great actress too, and she has such range because, you know, we saw her play the dumb blonde Karen in Mean Girls, and now she's like she's playing more like serious intellectual roles. Like she has that Hulu series Dropout or something. I heard it's really good. I need to watch that. But yeah, she's great too, and she has like tons of acting range, and I believe Lacey does too. Again, she just kind of fell into her niche, and she's like, oh no, I just want to be this. I want to be like female rom-com lead, and she's done it for 30 movies. So good on you. And she can clearly do it for 30 more. So good on you. Okay, let's get into Hot Frosty. I mean, this will be a shorter. There's really not, you know, it's a 90-minute rom-com. What you see is what you get. But yeah, so Lacey Chabert, she plays, oh God, what was her name? I already forgot her character's name. Katie, something like that, Katie. But Katie runs like, all these movies are very much similar. They're all the same. So there's always like the downtrodden girl, like the girl that like, she either runs like a bookstore or a cafe or a restaurant or a diner. Yeah, she runs a cafe. And she's going through some stuff because her husband, you know, passed away recently due to cancer. So it's all very sad. And, you know, her life's kind of falling apart. And the opening little montage shows you, it's actually, you know, it is pretty sad because she explains later, but like her husband was the handyman around the house. And without him, the house has just fallen into disrepair. You know, there's a big hole in the staircase. There's like leaks there. You know, nothing works. The heater doesn't work. The dishwasher doesn't work, you know, and there's no one around to fix it anymore. So that's where she's at, you know. She has to like bundle up under 3 layers because the heater doesn't work, you know, when she goes to bed. So it's very sad. But yeah, she's talking to her friends, and they gave her like this special red scarf, and like said this, like her friend said this thing about like, oh, it'll help you find your destiny, blah blah blah. So she goes to all these different snowmen, and there's this one like super jacked muscular snowman, and she's like, oh, you know you could use this one, you look pretty cold, because he's like shirtless or whatever. And she gives him the scarf. You know, it's a good thing she gave that one the scarf, the attractive one. Like, what if she gave the the fat snowman on the right the scarf? You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Don't think too hard about it. But yeah, she gives him the scarf, and it's literally just like that. It's just like that movie with Michael Keaton, Jack Frost. You remember that, where like the snowman comes to life. So that happens. He comes to life, and and thus our romance plot begins. And his name is even Jack because he steals these overalls, and the name says Jack. So she just starts. She's like, "Oh, I have to call you something. I'll call you Jack." And obviously that's like a nod to like, well, Jack Frost in general, but also I think it is a nod to that movie specifically because it's the exact same, plot. But yeah, so she finds him. Well, what's funny is when he first comes to life, he's literally wearing just the scarf and nothing else. And this is why, I would definitely say this movie is geared more towards a female audience. Like this movie, it's for you know what it is. You know what it's for. It's just like all those Hallmark movies. It's for older women. It's for moms. Moms are gonna watch this. Lacey Chabert is the self-insert character. Moms are gonna watch this and like pretend, oh, that's me. Like I'm the downtrodden woman, and I meet this sexy snowman who falls in love with me. That's what this is. Okay, but I've always said, even if you're not the target audience, if it's a good movie, it's a good movie. If you can enjoy it, you can enjoy it. Like, it's the same idea as like when I watch a Pixar movie like The Incredibles. Yeah, the target audience is kids. Like Pixar makes kids movies, but they're so good that adults can enjoy them too. And I've said this, again and again and again, and I will always quote the late great Roger Ebert here. But like people give me shit, because I'm a man and I watch a lot of romance movies, and it's like, oh, aren't those for girls? Okay, yes, technically this is geared towards women. That's the point. You're supposed to like slobber over the hunky snowman, but it's a fun little romance movie with a nice little story, a nice little message, and like lovable characters, so that anyone can enjoy. But yeah, Roger Ebert said this in his review of a romance movie called When Harry Met Sally, and he basically said, yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a chick flick because this movie is about relationships. But the last time I checked, men are in relationships too. Men are in those too last time I checked. He said something like that. And I was just like, mic drop, there's your crown king, there it is, boom. He said it all, okay? Yeah, this movie is about a cute couple, and last time I checked, yeah, it's not just women that are in relationships. Men are too, so, hopefully some men could get behind this couple too. Anyway, but yeah, he appears. He's just wearing the scarf, and like there's definitely some fan service in that department with this guy. Jack is played by Dustin Milligan. I've never heard of this person. I don't know what he's like known for, but like, yeah, he's fine. He does just fine. Obviously, for me, the highlight was Lacey Chabert. Unfortunately, there's no fan service with her. Not really. Even at the end of the film, like they're getting ready to go to like Hawaii or whatever. Like she always promised him, and I'm like, oh yeah, at least we'll get like a quick scene of her, in the bikini. Or they're like, no. They show them getting in the car and driving off, and they're wearing flower necklaces, and that's it. Like, and I'm like, okay. The entire movie takes place in winter, so of course she's like bundled under 3 layers of clothes. The only one not bundled up is Jack because he's a snowman, and that's like the running gimmick is like he likes the cold. He doesn't like wearing layers, so just an excuse for him to show off that attractive body. There's a great scene. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll get back to the car scene in a second. But anyway, yeah. So he appears naked, and he's just wearing the scarf, and he's like streaking around town looking for clothes, and he has to break into this clothing store and steal that outfit there. But when he's running around naked, it's funny because like there's this old couple that are walking their dogs. And like basically the both of them kind of faint when they see him, and then later it's funny, like there's some good humor here. Later the sheriff's like questioning the couple, and like basically they're trying to do like an artist sketch of the face. And Lacey Chabert is like, oh well, didn't like the old couple give a description of him, and like the sheriff's like, well the husband didn't see him at all, and the wife, like she saw him, she was very descriptive, but we needed his face. So she was looking everywhere else, and she couldn't tell us anything about his face. Anyway, it's really funny. But yeah, so he steals that outfit, and that's like a whole thing because like he feels guilty about stealing and breaking into that clothing store, and he needs to like make amends with that couple. And blah blah blah, and like the sheriff is like out looking for him, like looking for this guy who's like a streaker and stole clothes and blah blah blah, and she's telling Jack to lay low. Anyway, but yeah, another funny scene. So it turns out that Jack's very handy around the house. Like he's watching TV and he's like learning all these things. He's learning how to cook. He's learning how to do repairs just from watching TV. And so he's up on the roof and he has his shirt off and he's like doing repairs. because again, he loves the cold. In fact, like it's like a weakness of his. If he wears clothes too much, like he'll like melt. He's like starts like sweating profusely, and he'll like it's implied that he'll die. He'll like melt or whatever. So he's on the roof shirtless, and this other old woman, she's driving, and she's like totally just like rubbernecking. She can't she sees this shirtless dude, and she like crashes. she's like so transfixed, she just like crashes her car right outside the house, and so he jumps down. And this part was really funny too, and it was I was like kind of surprised by some of like the double entendre in this movie. But yeah, this part got a little raunchy. But he's like, oh, like, can I help you? And she's like, oh, I hope you can. And he's like, your car is stuck. Like, you don't want me to like push you out? She's like, oh yeah, push me. And he like gets behind the car, and he's like pulling and then pushing the car, the rear of the car. He's basically grabbing onto the rear of the car, and the entire time she's like kind of making noises like oh yeah, and it just keeps going and going. And so, obviously very highly suggestive. And then at the end of it, he's like panting. He's like, oh, I'm out of breath after that. And she's like, oh yeah, I am too. Like it's really funny. I don't know. It's really funny. But yeah. So like the main conflict is I didn't even describe this dude, but yeah, the sheriff is played by Craig Robinson, the comedian, and he's a riot. Like he's definitely a highlight of the film as well. He's just this guy that's like a total joke, but like he's the only one that doesn't know it. The whole town thinks he's a joke, but like he's like a super hard ass cop. Like he'll like whatever, write you a ticket for jaywalking, that type of cop. And like he's made it his like mission in life to find out who this streaker was, even though like the people who like their place was broken into, they don't even seem to care. They're like, yeah, I mean, he only stole like one thing, and it's like, yeah, I mean, and like, yeah, he broke our window, but someone already replaced it, so it's cool. And the guy's like, no, it's not cool. But yeah, no, one of the funniest scenes is they're at the diner. Lacey and Jack are at the diner, and the sheriff, of course, shows up. And Jack, he'll just eat ice. Like he won't even order a drink. He'll just like have a glass full of ice, and he's just like chomping down on it. And the sheriff notices, and he's just like, where's the beverage to go with your ice? The way he says it is really, really funny. And then he's like, well, I just like to eat ice. And the sheriff's like, oh yeah, me too. And they just both start like chomping down on it. It's really funny. Yeah, it's just goofy. Yeah, that's the right word. Not necessarily like a negative thing, but like this movie is cheesy and goofy in the right way. It's comfort food. That's how I would describe a good rom-com. It's light entertainment, but it's comfort food. It's like a grilled cheese with a nice bowl of tomato soup. Oh god, I could go for that right now. It's freezing, chat. It's freezing. It's like 30 degrees outside, but I'm gonna keep this one short, I promise. What else? Yeah, I mean, it has all of the tropes. Like there's a scene where he learns how to cook, and so he's making pizza, and they do that thing that I hate. Like, and it's very tongue in cheek. Like they do it so over the top, but like they both reach for the pizza cutter at the same time, and their fingers touch by accident. They both draw their hands back like oh. They both have like this over the top like giggle fit, and I'm like there's a scene where he needs to go to a dance, so he needs to like get new clothes. So of course there's like a clothes changing montage, and they even play the song Pretty Woman. It's so by the numbers. But it's sweet. Like there's a scene like because he gets like a job at this middle school, and they have like a dance, and like he watches this kid ask this girl to the dance, and he wants to do the same thing with Lacey, so he does. It's all very sweet, It's just sweet. That's how I would describe this movie. But yeah, I mean, and Lacey, she's still getting over the death of her husband, and she's at a point where like she won't even hug men. That's like a whole thing. Is like he's like all about the hugs, and she won't even like hug him because she's just like I'm not ready for that level of affection with another man yet. And she eventually gets over it. Again, the movie's called. Okay, and this is like a nitpick, but like I thought, like I assumed the title was like Hot and Frosty. It's just called Hot Frosty, which it just sounds weird. Like I would have called it Hot and Frosty. You know what I mean? Because like she's hot, he's frosty. I don't know. But anyway, what else? So long story short, the sheriff he figures out that Jack did it. That Jack was like the streaker and stole the clothes. So he locks him up. and there's like a whole thing. But it's actually a really nice scene, because so the sheriff is like a hard ass, and he's like, he's like, no, I'm not like letting him out. Like, I'm setting the bill to $2,000, and she's panicking. She doesn't have it, but she withdraws all the money from her safe, and like they have that scene where the town comes together, and everyone chips in some money because they all love Jack at this point. He's affected all their lives for the better at this point, so they all chip in money, and they're just missing $10. And of course, the sheriff's like, well, you're $10 short. I can't let him out. And here was the cool little twist. The final straw. This little kid shows up. The kid that Jack befriended at the middle school dance. Turns out he's the sheriff's son, and he donates the last $10 to let Jack out. And that's what like breaks the sheriff. He's like, all right, you know what? Keep your money. I'm letting him out. That type of thing. But unfortunately, the reason there was like the time crunch here is the jail cell was kind of hot, and Jack was like melting. And the sheriff just thought like, oh, he's just like, he's sweaty. He's sweating under the pressure, Again, the way that the line delivery from Craig Robinson is just very funny. But so it gets kind of dark for a moment. Like they pull his body out of the cell and like kind of carry him out of the jail, and like he's dead. Like he's not moving. And like they like throw him in this amount of ice because they think that'll make it better, and it doesn't. And it's really sad, and Lacey gives him like one final kiss, and she takes the scarf back. That's another little detail that I liked, was like clearly like there's some magic here with the scarf, and it's implied that if he took it off, he would like cease to be, or the spell would be undone. And I thought of that like in the clothes montage. I'm like, well, he has to take it off to change his suits, right? But no, they showed in every little snippet he's either wearing the scarf, or at one point he has the scarf tied around his waist while he's like changing shirts. I'm like, oh, okay, there you go, like you did it. You covered that little detail that nitpickers like me would point out, and like no, he never takes off the scarf. Like, bravo, bonus points for that. But yeah, there's like Christmas magic or some bullshit, and like, she takes off the scarf and she thinks he's dead, and then he gets back up, and it's like a Pinocchio type of thing where like now not only is he back, but now he's cold, and like he's a real boy. So like that was like the main question, was like, how are these two gonna hook up? Because like he was literally a snowman, and like they tried like touching, and he's like he's freezing. Like there's no way these two can hook up. Like he's gonna like give her pneumonia if she tries to like sleep with him. But it's like, no, it's all good. Magical happy ending. He's a human now. She can go on her honeymoon Hawaii vacation with him, and they can knock boots all they want. That type of thing. But yeah, so went a little long, and I'm starting to freeze out here, so I'm gonna cut it off here. But yeah, definitely this Christmas, you want like a 90-minute fun little movie, check out Hot Frosty. And then if you like that, there's literally 30 other rom-coms that Lacey Chabert has done for Hallmark Channel. I'm sure a couple of those are worth checking out too. So yeah, I'll talk to you later.